Hello, so today's going to be a game where I play KASSADIN Reroll. So KASSADIN Reroll, this is still set 12 PBE, so this is probably going to be the last PBE game because set 12 is coming out tomorrow. So hopefully I'm going to be live to play a bunch of set 12 and try and grind a lot of the comps and ideas that I had. But basically right here, what I'm trying to play towards is KASSADIN Reroll because it's one of those comps that I've heard really good things about, right? You can reroll KASSADIN as a Multistriker, and then you can reroll that with a Collie, and there's lots of opportunities to make this unit really pop off really hard. I wasn't sure about it because I haven't actually tried it, but basically because set 12's PBE, I'm gonna be playing PBE, and then I'm gonna go into like live server eventually. I want to make sure that I try out all of the other comps and all of these like really niche things. Just in case, like, you know, if they are really abusable or broken, that I know about it or I know how to deal with it, and I know like how to play them. But that's what I'm kind of going through right now, a little bit offline, just trying out some of those remaining comps. Here I get Clockwork Accelerator. I kind of like attack speed if I'm playing like some sort of melee unit that I need a lot of auto attacks off. I think Combat Caster would probably be better in most cases. I remember Combat Caster was something that's always like really strong for melee units because of the extra shielding that it gives. But here I want to itemize towards KASSADIN. I don't think I itemize particularly well on KASSADIN. I really think you want like a Rabadon on KASSADIN, and I really think that you want like something like an Edge of Night. It's a little bit hard to tell, and then maybe like a Bloodthirster. Basically, the way KASSADIN works is that once he casts, or basically like he does damage, and then his autos do extra AP damage. So you want the KASSADIN to like live long enough in the fight, as well as scale, so that his extra auto attacks do a bunch of damage. Here, because I'm kind of forcing the line, so I'm not saying that I'm playing this from a particularly amazing start. It's that I had to start with a KASSADIN. I looked around, nobody seems to be playing Multistrikers. It's like, okay, I might as well just try and force it, see how strong it is. You know, if it is really strong, I'll probably still have an easy time even with forcing the situation. But if it's like very particular with items, then I'll know about that at least. I make Hodge Gnasher's Tooth. Gnasher's gives like a lot of attack speed and some HP, so it feels like it would be a decent item on somebody that wants to do a lot of auto attacks. And then Hodge, basically just some sort of healing to do, and as well as increased damage. I do think that you really want something like a Rabadon's though, or an Edge of Night, because Edge of Night gives a lot of attack speed as well as gives survivability, and Rabadon's basically can help scale those auto attacks doing extra damage. Once I hover over KASSADIN, we'll see that it's a little bit we'll see a little bit more clearly what exactly or how exactly it works out. I just realized now that I didn't put up the inking again. That's my bad. Let me just do this. Let me do this. Boom. There we go. Sorry, I've been drawing on the screen. Now we can see it. Sorry about that. I'll try and be a little bit better. These last couple of days have been a little bit hectic. I'm hoping that, you know, things are sorted out for tomorrow so I can do a long stream, but we'll see. Just been super tired and busy. But yeah, I'm just playing around KASSADIN. I have Zillion in as Chrono. Basically, the board looks something like... Let's see if I can build this board for you guys real fast, just so you guys have a little bit of an idea what I'm trying to do. Let's go Team Builder. And let's show it off here. So what you do is you usually just play vertical Multistrikers, and you play something like this, Hecarim, Shen, and you're usually like rerolling for a Collie and the other thing, and then you have like a Zillion in the back line. Zillion just seems like a really busted unit, and it also allows a really high cap potential. As well as putting in Chrono, it gives everybody extra AP, so it helps out the board a lot. But typically, you'll set yourself up like this, right? A Collie, my favorite item combo for a Collie is this. Give me 1 second. I like Hodge, Deathblade, and Edge of Night. I think on KASSADIN, what you really want is you want something like BT. I think this is what I've seen. I saw this on like Die6 guide, and I think I kind of agree with it. I really like Edge of Night and Rabadons on KASSADIN. I don't know if you want Hodge or BT, because KASSADIN already gets a shield, right? If you hover over him, basically he deals magic damage, and then you gain a health shield. So I feel like if you already have shielding, you might not need like some of the extra shielding that Bloodthirster covers for you. And then for the rest of the combat, you deal bonus stacking magic damage. So you basically want to get these casts off as much as possible. You want to live as much as possible, and you want to have like you want to have as many auto attacks as possible. So you want to scale that attack speed as much as possible. If you see here, we're 4 out of 3 multi-striker. I think you can play Ash, but a lot of times you're probably just playing one of the better ones, like Camille, that gives you the chrono for free. Obviously, like, this is really difficult to hit. I think what I see is that this comp is very, very good if you have a multi-striker emblem. If you have a multi-striker +1 that you can put on Zilean, I think that really unlocks the comp, because Zilean already does a lot for you, and then you can kind of level up to play those extra multi-strikers really easily for the reroll without having to like deal with being a super high level after rerolling. But typically you're going for Akali 3 and Kassadin 3. This game I actually go for Jax 3 because that's what I end up hitting, but we'll see how it goes. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. As you can see here though, I'm building it with different items. I'm kind of just trying it out. This is a very like tryout kind of stage. I was playing these games super late at night, not super dialed in and focused, just like had a little checklist next to me of like, okay, what are the comps that I want to try, just so I have like a brief understanding of how they work and what they do. Something else to note, I released yesterday like, hey, what are my top comms, what do I think is going to be really good, and I said number 1's going to be Blaster. That is so funny because I looked at the patch notes and they literally just buffed Ezreal and Hui. I'm like, my brothers in Christ. I'm like, I already thought this shit was broken. What are we doing here? So, I don't know. I think we'll see what happens tomorrow, but I think it's going to be like a Force Hui every single game or Force Ezreal every single game, maybe. Like, why would they buff those 2 units? I felt like they were already broken. Oh boy. So, you know, maybe I'm wrong. You know, maybe I'm wrong, but like, I don't know. We'll see. 27 gold here. I just pushed the level because like I'm not gonna make econ anyways. I could have sold Zilean and try and make like 30 or 40 or whatever. I'm just playing this in a very chill way, right? The way I'm looking at it is like, okay, I'm just gonna put in the board, put in Jax. This is basically what the board looks like, and then I'll level for one more multi-striker. I don't have a multi-striker +1, but it's okay. I'm not too stressed about it. More so, I'm just like, you know, we're gonna try it out. We'll see what items I get dropped, right? It's kind of awkward here because I have 2 cloaks. One of them could be a Bloodthirster for sure. So I have the option of probably putting like double healing on Kassadin. Maybe it's good. I already get some attack speed from the Nashor's Tooth. So, you know, I have a little bit of a different build than like what I initially would ideally want. But at the same time, you have to understand, I also have a Nashor's Tooth, right? Oh, sorry, I also have a magnetic remover. So if I want to move these items, like I can easily put this Hodge on one of the other multi-strikers. I can easily put this Nashor's Tooth on the Zilean, right? Like I have the option to rearrange these items later in the game. So I'm not too stressed about getting the perfect items right now, as much as I am more leaning towards just like trying to win as many fights as possible, put myself in a good spot to actually hit the 3-star versions of a lot of these units. And then if I hit the 3-star versions of the units, I can then gauge, okay, how much damage is this guy doing? How can I adjust this so that when the set goes live, I have a little bit more of an idea of it. That's basically what this video is going to be. It's not going to be some giga high roll game. I do place very high in this game. I think the comp is pretty strong, but you know, it's just like more idea focused. I got dropped 2 duplicators. I don't know. I guess it's like, you know, you can look at this as a high roll, and you can look at this and it's like, bro, I have none of these items make any items, right? Like, I have 2 cloaks, 2 chainmail, and another cloak. It's like, what? So like, what I decide to do here is I say, okay, well, I probably won't have the item economy to itemize Kassadin and Akali. I definitely don't have the item economy to itemize Zilean. I have to itemize a tank. It's like, who does damage on my team? If you look here, this is Hecarim. I'm reading his description. He doesn't scale off of damage. Read this guy. Look at this. Enemies, he gains armor for 6 seconds, and during this time, he does bonus damage based on his armor and MR. So, you know what? Guess what? We're Jax duo. We're just going to fully itemize our Jax with a bunch of tank items. Let's see how it goes. And this is going to be really surprising. If you look here, my Jax is already doing more damage than my Kassadin. Obviously, the Kassadin won. So, you know, their damage is like a little bit whatever. But yeah, this Jax is kind of popping off already. The idea is that like Jax, if you give him a bunch of armor and MR, basically when he starts auto attacking, he'll do a bunch of bonus damage. That's what his ability reads out as. So I'm like, yeah, you know what? I guess we're Jax 3 now. I sold a couple Jaxes before, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Here, I'm looking, Freaky Friday might be a really good option, right? The same way like having the bunch of stats that Freaky Friday gives is probably really good for like Kassadin and Akali, right? It just gives like a bunch of everything. But I decide I probably should just go for invested here. I'm down to just like get a bunch of free rerolls. It reestablishes my econ in a really big way. Because I have this one duplicator though, I decide to roll a little bit here. I think this is a bad decision. Even when I was doing it, I was like, this is pretty bad. But what I really wanted was I just wanted to KASSADIN 2. Right? I just wanted KASSADIN 2 to stabilize for learning purposes. So I was looking for a single copy of a KASSADIN, and I didn't find it. So it's like, oh, great. That's pretty bad. Because I could have been earning those free rerolls and then reroll a little bit later. But it is what it is. Right? Here, it's like you have to be level 7 to fit in this board. I'm trying to decide if I want to play 5 Multistriker or if I want to put in this Chrono. Because I'm either going to play 4 Multistriker, 2 Chrono, or I'm going to play 5 Multistriker, no Chrono. And it just comes down to like if I play this Zillion or not. Because my Jax is doing so much damage though, I'm kind of down to keep Chrono in. Because like, you know, the extra AP kind of helps both KASSADIN and Jax, right? It's not like I have Akalian scaling doing damage where Akali is not really making much use of the AP because the Akali is more of an AD unit. Because both my damages are AP units, it's like, I guess Chrono probably helps, right? Give a little bit AP to the whole team. Here it's buy the charm to buy a thing. I roll once because I get the free reroll. It's at the start of each round. So if you're at 50 gold and then you make 60 gold, you still get one reroll, right? So now I'm just rebuilding my econ. I'm only gonna roll if I have extra money in like the ones digit, you know, like here I'm 62, so I use one of my free rerolls because I can afford to roll once and buy a 2-cost unit without breaking econ of 60. And I don't think it's gonna matter in making econ next turn because I think I'm already gonna be at 70 no matter what. But that's like the main idea, right? I think the KASSADIN's kind of popping off, but he does die really easily. This Jax unit is super tanky and is doing a lot of damage, right? KASSADIN obviously died early, but I kept up this for the whole time. I'm going to try and make this a habit in the videos. A lot of times I forget because I'm really focused. Because this game I was kind of just learning. I was doing it for like learning purposes very, very strictly. And I wasn't like streaming or live or distracted like some of the other VOD reviews. I keep up the damage report because I'm literally like every single turn I'm like, okay, Jax did this much damage, KASSADIN this much damage. That's how you help like figure out comps and figure out like broken units, right? It's the same like this board, right? See Syndra and Cassiopeia, and this is a Nami too. What is no? It's Elise too, right? It's just a matter of like analyzing the board, right? This is like common that I see a lot, like Jace just doing a lot of damage, Jax doing a lot of damage. I feel like some of these 1-cost units have really strong potential for like mid-game strength. Here I get a Kali, so it's like, do I start stacking Pyro and 5 Multistriker, or do I just go for these units, right? I have a Zillion 2 now, so I'm kind of debating, do I reroll for Ashe, or do I do this? It is what it is though. I think I try out 5 Multistriker here. The problem is this comp, I think, the Multistriker in general, like whenever you're playing melee units, you really like attack speed because you want to keep their Omnivamp up, right? You want them to keep doing damage so that they keep recovering HP. Because the more times they auto attack, the more times they'll heal, and that helps sustain themselves, right? So it's why like a lot of times like stun is really, really bad for melee units, and it's also why like attack speed really helps a lot. With this KASSADIN comp, I really think that you're trying to hit Akali 3 as well. It's like Akali and KASSADIN as the 2 rerollers. And part of that is because if you get an Akali early, or if you reroll Akali early, she will scale up Pyro, which will give your whole team attack speed, which even though it's very negligible, is not that much attack speed. I think it can still sway some fights, especially with KASSADIN, where he scales his auto attack, so his auto attack to do a bunch of additional bonus AP damage. I think that you have some options there, right? In terms of like general items though, I've seen people put Guinsoo on KASSADIN and it go kind of hard. I don't know if it's a Guinsoo KASSADIN is that insane. I'm always a big Guinsoo non-believer. I think that Guinsoo a lot of times is like really good at the beginning of stages, beginning of fights when boards aren't optimized. But then when you get to like late game scenarios where all the boards like last like 10 seconds and they all die, I feel like Guinsoo falls off really hard because you don't get that ramping effect as insanely. So, but you know, there also might be like a Guinsoo KASSADIN variation that is also possibly really strong. Like I said, I think the final patches are out, so I don't think it's going to change much from what it is right now between today and tomorrow. So I think it's probably not Guinsoo, but maybe I'm wrong. That's all, it's same as usual. Obviously, I'm going Kassadin Reroll and I have like fucking 0 Kassadin, so this isn't looking too hot. I also have very few items, right? Like, I don't even know who to itemize or what to itemize at this point. And I'm just slow rolling to around 80, right? They changed this. I think it used to be 100 gold, and now it's 80 gold. So it got nerfed a little bit. But basically, I'm just slow rolling 80, using my free rerolls, and trying my best to buy up some units. Essentially, ideally, I want to hit everybody 3-starred. And then maybe level for an Ari, right? Just get a bunch of AP. My item drop is another cloak, right? I took a cloak off carousel as well, which was maybe my mistake because I was taking Kassadin, right? It was probably better to take a rod off carousel. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but that was just my own mistake. But finally, I Kassadin 2. I'm rolling a little bit. I'm basically rolling till around 80. There's Ari upgrades, but I can't really focus on Ari for now. I'm very close to Akali 3. I just don't have any Akali items, right? Like, I didn't get dropped a single sword this game. I didn't get dropped a single bow this game. I make Spark because it's like, I guess Spark is going to be good enough here. And I'll hold on to this cloak and maybe make a Bloodthirster for somebody. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I think that's just the nature of, like, my item drops, right? I have 4 cloaks. Obviously, I took 1 cloak, so that's my bad. But if you look at it, even though I took 1 cloak, I still got dropped like 4 cloaks total, right? I got dropped Declaw cloak, I got dropped 1 cloak, I got dropped another cloak at the beginning, right? And I got dropped a belt, and that was my belt bow, and this was my tier. Like, yeah, oh boy, you know what I mean? That was kind of rough, but it's okay. We'll be fine, right? Chrono Crown seems interesting because then I could just play Chrono. New Recruit seems more interesting though because it gives me another duplicator. Now, whenever you're holding 2 champion duplicators, usually you can just play around a 4 cost. I'm going to tell you guys now, I don't want to spoil it or mislead anybody. I don't play around a 4 cost here. I don't care about, like, getting some kind of giga YouTube video where it's like, I hit 4-star, 3-star this thing. And no, I want to see if this Kassadin line is good. So I'm not playing towards, like, trying to 3-star a legendary, 3-star a 4 cost. There'll be a time and a place for that. Maybe later in the set or something like that. Right, but I really want to try out this Kassadin line, so I'm going to save these duplicators to try and 3-star up these units to play it as realistic as possible to hitting the 3-star versions of these units. Here, this will be an interesting thing. I always bitch about, like, Cassiopeia not doing enough damage. We can actually look here and see, like, the damage dealt in a lot of these cases now, because I actually have it open, right? Cassiopeia is doing more damage right now, but she has 3 items and a Radiant item, and this only has 1 item. Which is kind of like, it is what it is. But it's not even that much, right? She has a Radiant item, and my Jax 1 is doing like half the damage. I guess she's popping off a little bit. That's with Radiant Guinsoo as well. We'll see later, though. Here, I can slow roll basically until, not to break my 80 gold. 80 gold is where I get my extra rerolls for the prismatic augment that I took. I don't really like this prismatic augment, by the way. I feel like it doesn't give you that much for a prismatic. Like, I feel like prismatic ticket, you get more rerolls sometimes. Actually, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell if this is better or worse than prismatic ticket, because the 80 gold threshold is a little bit awkward sometimes. But I think if you're in a good spot for it, I think you can get a lot of work done. But yeah, it sucks because I'm really close to Akali items. If my items worked out better, like, I itemized Jax this game, but imagine if all of these items were on Akali instead. Like, imagine if I had, like, actual Akali items and I had, like, Kassadin and Akali dual carry. I think I would scale much better. If you look here, though, Jax is kind of popping off, right? This is kind of funny, to me at least, it's really funny. Because Jax is consistently doing more damage than my Kassadin. Obviously, he has 3 items. Kassadin only has 2 items. But, Jax seems really strong. That's what I learned when playing this. This is really cool, though. Guess what? She looks very playable on my board with a sword. Right? That seems like a good idea. So yeah, we did Camille. Camille's Chrono and Multistriker. She's like the high cap version of this board. Now, here's a part where I make probably a series of poor mistakes, I think. But not super poor mistakes, but somewhat poor mistakes. So, I can easily play towards 7 Multistriker, which I think is the play. Because she is Chrono, I think I end up deciding to play 4 Chrono instead, just to try out the 4 Chrono variation. I think that's a mistake. We'll see it later. Here I just put double healing on Kassadin. I can rearrange the items after I have a remover, so I can do that. I can do that whenever. Here I'm deciding. I just sell the ashes, and I'm like, okay, I'll just hold on to these units now. I'm not gonna go for Ash 3, or I'm not gonna go for Ash. I should have held on to the Ash. My bench is getting very cluttered though. That's the main thing. I'm going for the Zillion still. I'm still holding on to the Zillion. Because instead I'm kind of going towards 4 Chrono. I think it's definitely 7 Multistriker to cap out this board. Or if you're playing 5 multi, maybe you put in Preserver. Right? Preserver probably helps a little bit more. We're losing a lot of these fights, but I haven't sent it yet, right? I still have 80 gold, right? I can send it to 0 and I'll probably hit something, right? There's a lot of things I can hit. I also am greeting my duplicators because, you know, I can easily just get Kassadin 3 right now. But instead of getting Kassadin 3, I'm like, you know, I'll just wait. Hopefully I find one more Kassadin. I don't have to use it. Buy the Akali. Roll for other stuff, right? So, you know, I can even get Zillion 3. Hecarim 3 maybe. I'm just going for all of them at this point. Here I'm deciding who to sell. It's probably just sell Ari. Right? Boom. Use that one. I'm gonna hold on to these duplicators still. I could double duplicate what's her name? Camille, because Camille is really strong and can make the board really, really powerful. But you know, I'll just sit for a little bit. I have a bunch of 3 stars now. I should be spiking a little bit harder than some people. This guy is gonna be a problem later, I think. Because he has Preserver Emblem, which I think is already really busted. He's playing around a Preserver Frost line, and he has a Frost Emblem, so he's going to be able to hit some kind of crazy vertical board so long as he's, like, lives long enough. As you can see here, I just completely, like, beam this guy, which is great. But, you know, we'll see what happens. He already has a Diana, which is really rough as well. What is he at? He's at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then he has a Golem. I should have checked how much Frost he is. Is he already, like, not, is he, like, already just waiting to level to 9 Frost? Let me just go back a little bit. I want to see the fight start. Does he have 2 Frost Emblems? I'm curious about this board in particular, because... no, he just has 1 Preserver Emblem, 1 Frost Emblem. Okay. And then he has the Sentinel as the carry. That's fine. That's crazy. 23 HP? What happens this game? I'm still sitting on 2 duplicators, I'm aware. Like I said, I just wanted to play around specifically the units that I'm playing here, because I really want to test their power. I hit both of them. I hit both of these 3 stars. So you know, I could just double duplicate the Camille. I'm trying to debate what I should make as an item here. It's probably just anti-heal, so I'm probably just gonna Morello my Zillion. I level to 7 and I roll a bit on 7 odds. I don't want to break 50 gold because 50 will make 60, and then with 60 gold I can still gain at least 1 reroll per round, and I can reestablish myself to 80. But I want to level to 7. I have 5 Multistriker, 3 Chrono. I put in Arcana, like I put in the Ari because she just gives so much AP right now, but I can also play towards the extra units. Here I have Jax 3, Kassadin 3, and what's really funny is that Jax is doing almost as much damage as the Kassadin. Obviously, the Kassadin maybe isn't optimal items, but like this Jax unit is kind of strong. I think that if you get tank items and you put tank Jax with this setup, I feel like this is just insane. Like imagine if I had Akali items as well, like if it was a high item Galaxy or something like that, or I had an item Augment instead of like a new recruit. I feel like this Jax unit is not that bad. Not that bad to put items on, because Kassadin has been considered to be like a good reroll line with Akali. But like this Jax unit is doing just as much damage as the Kassadin, right? So that's just something I learned while playing this. You know, maybe this is a thing, maybe it isn't. Here I just level. I level because I'm realizing that, okay, if this was a real game and I was playing for placements, I would just level and play 4 Chrono. Now, the problem is here, I went for Zillion 3 and I have Zillion 3 now, so I want to play 4 Chrono because Zillion 3, I can itemize Zillion as my extra unit. I think if you're playing this comp, you definitely want to play, when you level to 8, you want to be playing 7 Multistriker. And it's why I say that like having a Multistriker emblem is really important, because imagine if I had a Multistriker emblem for the Zillion. If I had a Multistriker emblem for the Zillion, I would definitely be able to to fit in 7 Multistriker on 8, as well as fit in like 4 Chrono or have like a really strong board. Obviously, Arcana is just like a bonus thing. That's because of my new recruit. I can just fit it in for free without having to level to 9. But your board on 8 would usually just be these units, I think. But if you have Zillion and you have a Multistriker emblem, then you can just, instead of playing 4 Chrono, you can just play 7 Multistriker. Losing the Zillion, you could lose the Zillion because I have Chrono in because I found a Camille early. And obviously it's going to be gate kept by the Camille for a while, this comp, if you're playing 7 Multistriker. But I think, I don't know, I honestly think 7 Multistriker basically gives you like more auto attacks or more consistency on doing extra auto attacks, especially with KASSADIN doing bonus AP with his auto attacks. I feel like it's definitely going to be stronger. This is a 6 Sugarcraft guy. I think he's full Sugarcraft stacks, and as you can see, I'm still kind of like, you know, my board is strong, right? It's not like insanely strong, but it is very strong. See, the 7 Multistriker gives you healing as well. That was the main thing. I forgot about that part. Gives you 3% max HP healing. I definitely think that it's 7 Multistriker. So, you know, obviously, you know, if you're watching this and you're trying to learn something, things that we learned, Jax, pretty good if you put him some good tank items. 7 Multistriker, probably better than 4 Chrono. And, at least in this setup. And, maybe better Jax items. If you have a Spark, I still have this Remover. I think that these items don't really matter that much. I don't see the point of having like the double healing on the Jax. Sometimes it's really useful. But in this case, I think I'd rather just have a Spark, because a lot of times the Jax and the KASSADIN, they separate. So I think I'm going to rearrange these items. I'm going to put Hodge on either Akali or the other dude. I think I put on Camille. I put on Camille because I'm 4 Chrono. I should probably put on Akali because it's Akali 3. Obviously, that's a little bit of a mistake. But I think that, like, you know, I was more concerned with just how I was playing it. This guy has a Honeybee emblem on a Smolder. This seems kind of scary. Let's see if Jax clutches. Come on, Jax. Oh, this is rough. Oh, Jax did so much damage there right at the end. Holy shit. We clutched that. That's crazy. Yeah, but I don't understand. I think it's just because it's PBE. This was the guy that I fought. Remember when I looked at him, I said, hey, this guy, you know, he's not that strong or whatever. And I beat him pretty handedly. He didn't lose a single fight after he beat me. And this guy was like 0 gold, right? This guy was literally, when I fought him, he was like 10 gold. And I destroyed him. Like, there was no chance. Even if he got upgrades, there was no chance. Then for some reason, because I fought him, I never fight him again. And if you look at his board now, wait, let's go back a little bit. If we look at his board now, I'm just pointing it out because it's a board that will be interesting a little bit later. I don't know. I think he maxed out preservers. Like, he had the time. He made it to level 9. I don't know where this other emblem came from. Like, was it on Carousel? I wasn't paying attention. Did he have it all the time and it was like hidden somewhere like that? Like, because there was a gold orb drop, right? So I think that was his gold orb drop and I didn't notice it before. But like, all of a sudden he's 9 Frost, 4 Preserver with everybody upgraded. It's like, what the fuck? And he's level 9? Like, you have to be level 9 to fit in 9 Frost. How did these people let him live? I don't understand how this guy just made it to level 9. He was 10 gold level 8 when I fought him. Like, he was rolling. He didn't have any units. And then all of a sudden now, like, he's going to level once more and he's going to put in 5 Preserver. Like, what is going on? But anyways, you know, that's TFT. I feel like with PBE, it's so hard to judge sometimes. That's what's really difficult. So I don't know how strong my board is. But I'm like, is everybody's board really weak? Because that guy was really weak. And for some reason, he lived. This is an Incanter board. I don't know. I don't know why everybody's always playing these boards together. Like, these Incanter boards, everybody's contesting it. But, you know, it is what it is. It's fine. Me, I'm playing KASSADIN doing pretty well. We'll see the damage report. I'm pretty sure Jax is keeping up with KASSADIN damage no matter what. Yeah. It's pretty close between my 3 stars. KASSADIN is starting to pop off a little bit better. The Spark is helping a lot with doing the extra damage. With the auto attacks. I definitely should have put Hodge on Akali. Obviously, that's my bad. My items are pretty split right now, which is really awkward, right? Like I should have, like, you know, I obviously have this Hodge. I don't know if it's Hodge Zillion ever, but it might be. Just stacking 3 items on the same unit is usually really good because they're additive with each other, right? If you have one item that boosts AP, one item that boosts attack speed, put them together, now you have increased both those stats, that the unit will do more damage as opposed to like spreading it out a lot. Here there's Adaptive Helm. There's no frontline item. This is what I was saying. I should have just hodged the Zillion from before because then I would have had 3 item Zillion. I don't really have a Camille item there. Maybe Runans, but I decide nah. I'm holding on to these double duplicators. I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if I'm gonna go for like 7 Multistriker or something like that. I decided to just roll it down here. We're at final 3, and I just want to try and get like the maximum placement. And I want to try and find a use for these 2 duplicators, right? I decided to abandon it. At this point, I'm like, I think it's too late for me to go 7 Multistriker because I have to lose so much of my board. I would have to sell the Zillion. I would either have to level to 9 and then lose Ari, or I'd have to sell the Zillion, which in both cases feels kind of rough. So I'm like, you know, I'm just committed Zillion 3. This is what the honeybee guy. It's not the sugarcraft guy. And we'll see here, KASSADIN and Jax. This Jax is doing a surprising amount of damage. So I feel like just in terms of survivability and damage, it's really useful to give the Jax the tank items, right? A lot of times I'll put tank items on like Hecarim or tank items on Shen, but I feel like the tank items on this Jax is like kind of good because he works like as a trio carry. Here I get another duplicator. I know what you're thinking. 3 duplicators surely is going for a 3-star 4 cost. No, I just duplicate all of my units. I just hit all my 3 stars. I want to be as strong as possible to fight this guy because this is the guy that he just hit. He's like 9 frost, like he has two spats and preserver emblem. It's like I just want to be as strong as possible to try and beat this guy, just to gauge board strength, right? I could have just rolled down all my gold and try and like 3-star a 4 cost, right? But you know, it's PBE, right? It doesn't matter if I like win the game, as much as it matters for me just to learn to see how strong something is. So this is against a clone though, right? So note it's a clone, so the clone's gonna be a bit weaker. So we're gonna see how it is after this. It's kind of sad that now there's a Camille, because I just wasted it. I could have also leveled, you know, try and play around the Multistrikers. I need to find an Ashe if I'm playing 7 Multistriker though, so that's a little bit awkward, and Ashe is kind of like a dead unit. But I'm just committing to this version of the board. We're going to see how the real fight goes now. An extra 3-star does give a little bit more AP with the Ari. Ideally, if I was in a real game spot, you know, hitting Shen 3 doesn't really matter. You typically would just push levels for either extra Arcana, Preserver, or like any of these like really good traits that can like help your whole board, right? Warrior might help if I was able to itemize a Kali. Things like that will probably benefit your board more than rolling here. So I'd probably just econ up, go to level 9, put in something for synergy, even boosting Arcana from 2 to 3, like putting in either a Tom Kench or what's it called, Zareth. Zareth is really strong as a +1. If you're ever lost and you don't know what unit to play, like, oh, do I go level 9? Like, I'm playing honeybees, what do I put in? I'm level 9, right? The answer is almost always Zareth. I think people say it a lot. I said it back when I first looked at the traits. This was like 2 weeks ago when PBE first came out. I said one of the best units is probably always going to be Zareth, because Zareth's main thing, it doesn't matter how much damage Zareth does, which Zareth does a shit ton of damage, by the way, but also the fact that they play into the charm so well. Right, Zareth gives you better charms, and having better charms with the Zareth will allow you to win a lot of late game fights, because some of them are so strong that they can sway the fight really hard to have those like ascendant charms. So having a Zareth in, not only do they do a bunch of damage, they'll also give you benefit of better charms that in late game, that's pretty much all you're rolling for, right? I feel like in this set, you never really want to go level 9 /10 unless you have a really good reason to. The quality of the units doesn't outweigh the strength of having like a really good charm. So like you don't really need to go level 10 ever. Level 9 is usually like if you're playing like a 4-cost board or some board like mine where you could go level 9, you can. But yeah, as you can see, I'm playing some kind of crazy setup, right? I feel like it's a very my setup feels like somewhat realistic. This feels like very high roll, like +2 spats, plus preserver spat, like frost everything, right? Didn't die because like for some reason nobody was strong enough to kill him off in time before going 9. Like this guy only stabilized because he was able to make it 9. So this was a very high roll board in my opinion, right? It's obviously very strong if you hit 9 frost. It's also very strong with preserver. I've been saying this like in a lot of these PBE videos, but I'm just trying to point out that this comp, I played it not the greatest. I don't think anybody can watch me and think that that was the greatest Kassadin reroll game I've ever seen in my life. It's like, no, that was like a very mid to like, you know, that was all right. I didn't even itemize a collie, right? This is not a capped board, and I was still able to like pretty convincingly, like the only person I had a chance of losing against was like this giga cap board. So I definitely think Kassadin's strong. I don't think he's broken. Like I don't think it's like hard force and win every game kind of broken, but it's definitely, this is like a better version of like the Multistriker Akali reroll line that, you know, I played a couple different variations. I think this Kassadin version might be a little bit more forcing because you need like the really good Kassadin items as well. But I think it's something I wanted to try out, and it's definitely strong. And even Jax is a fucking demon, so you know, look out for this. This is gonna be one. Anyways, thank you for watching. Hopefully that was enjoyable, and make sure to like and subscribe if you like this content. We're gonna start with set 12, like actual set 12 tomorrow. Thank you. Goodbye.